Hey everybody, how's it going? Today we're gonna do another battle video. We are going to take on Draginyattso. Don't forget, this is a Chou-Kyuukyoku quest that is, for whatever reason, live from September 5th all the way until November 25th. Which, if you remember me saying on the debut news of Draginyattso, I was actually kind of afraid how difficult it was gonna be. It is using a difficult gimmick to play, but once you get used to it and understand what you're trying to go for, it's actually not too bad. Now obviously you're going to need the right monsters, and if you happen to be watching this at a later date, do note that the suggested monsters that you're going to see on my video may be out of date. So I should have a link to the GameWith site in the description below. Go ahead and check it out. Even though it is in Japanese, you should be able to use Google Translate to help you out, and get around the site, and just realize that more and more monsters should be viable on this stage as time goes on, and should be something that if you can't do it right now, don't give up hope, because you can probably take it on with a few more cycles. If you see any new dark monsters introduced into the game, maybe they'll have a opportunity to shine here. So just don't be too frustrated if this is stopping you from clearing the stage. Sorry. Trying to pull up the stage on GameWith just to see, even if I did this a week ago and just want to make sure nothing has already changed since I've made these slides. So I don't think so. Okay, so without further ado, let's get going. First, an introduction on the stage. If you don't care about it, I should have the timestamps for the individual parts of this video. You can jump to the actual gameplay video and see that. But remember that Draginyattso is a one and done quest. Clear it and you get her at max luck. So you only need to clear it once. So that's why I was suspicious of how difficult this stage was going to be. Key gimmicks: damage wall, infectious wind, and bounce obstructors. They, of course, now, if you haven't played in a while, wind is actually a formidable gimmick now, because it'll have that infectious poison. If you touch a member with that poison on it, you yourself will pick it up and spread it to everyone else as well. So that is a serious gimmick now. So you will need a damage wall, wind, pierce monster to really maneuver around this stage. Just some warnings: no hearts on the stage, so you're gonna have to use the gimmicks on the stage to recover properly. Light monsters are recommended. It's not impossible per se, but you're gonna have a really hard time if you don't have a full party of light monsters. No, actually, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. You're probably not clearing this with non-light monsters. And of course, like I said, since it's one and done, you do not need a max luck monster. Just bring your OP monsters to the stage. And beyond the actual gimmicks that you can nullify, we have to actually talk about the stage gimmicks, which is going to be photons. If you've never played with photons before, basically you can consider them as mines. You will pick up these photons, store them in your character, and then the next character you hit, it will unleash the photons. Some enemies will have a photon counter on them in a yellow circle, like you see on the boot there on the left. If you are holding that many photons when you hit that monster, it will activate whatever effect is behind that photon attack. Now, unlike mines, this is essentially like mines, right? You pick up mines, you attack with it. You pick up photons, you attack with it. But unlike mines, there is no upper limit. Or at least I don't think I've seen a situation where either a monster has such a high photon count and there are that many photons on the stage that one supersedes the other. I don't think I've seen that. But do keep in mind that you don't get change, right? Once you hit a monster, you unleash all the photons that that character has on it. So you're gonna have to be careful how much you pick up at what time, and what character you hit. Also, I think I skipped over this earlier. You can count the number of photons by the actual yellow dots you see on circling that ring, blue ring on them. If it's a full-on like star, right? Like you see that big yellow blast there. That's a big 4 count for the photons. And basically, you can break this down into 2 things you need to worry about. Any enemies with a laser barrier around them, that's their blast area for their photon attack, and that photon attack is good. It's going to it's going to increase the attack of your monsters, right? You need that attack up to do any damage in that quest, right? So obviously the character that's moving that hits the boot character will give that character an attack up. Now, what's important is any other monsters that are in that laser barrier area, will also get a rate up. And then, we'll talk about it in game, but that's a pretty big thing that you need to pay attention to help you finish this quest a little bit easier. If you keep that in mind, it'll make your life a little bit easier. With a caveat, because when you get that power up blast actually hurts a lot. It's a 25k damage blast. That's gonna be almost, at least probably a quarter of your HP, right? So if every monster is in a laser barrier, you're gonna be in for a bad time there. So please be careful about that. The other part, the main part of the stage, is healing. Remember, there are no hearts on this stage, so you will need to utilize these characters' photon attacks to be able to heal up. When you hit these monsters, basically anybody that's not a boot, they will give off a healing blast, right? And that's how you heal, right? Amaimon on the left is a 70k that basically covers the entire screen. Maybe there's some corners it'll miss, but for all the intents and purposes, it's the entire screen. Likewise for the Vizsla there, the Wolf, 40k, again, basically the entire screen. Laser barrier for, I actually don't know the name of this character, so and when I looked it up, I didn't know how to translate it either, so this guy here is a 30k, and this will only be in the confines of its laser barrier. And of course, Draginyattso there, the boss, you will activate a 70k healing as well. So the photon attacks are all good. You just need to make sure that you are careful about the boots, because the boots will also damage you. It'll give you the attack up, which you need to complete the stage, but it will hurt. Right? So, in summary, do not forget the attack blast by the speed up boost will affect everyone in that laser barrier, right? Pro is you get the attack buff. And preemptively getting that attack buff is huge. I was able to take advantage of that properly in my video, so we'll be able to see that in action properly. But obviously the con is 25k damage, so be careful about that. You need to be aware of your pathing. You want to make sure that you can try to at least envision how you're going to get the photons, who it's going to hit, and what order you want to do that, right? If you end up getting the healing blast first and then the attack up damaging attack, you've basically undone your healing, right? You want to make sure you get that buff, then heal back up so that you can also tank the normal damage on the stage, right? So keeping that in mind, let's take a look at the OP monsters for the stage. The character that you will hopefully have in your box to help out is the S-ranked Uriel. Uriel is huge in this stage. She has weak point killer that gives her a lot of damage output. She has recovery M to heal you up when you need it. A shot skill will put up a healing wall to give you some extra support on that. And if you're feeling like you're struggling, do not hesitate to slap the badge on them to give them bonus healing boost there, right? So she's good at attack, she's good at healing. This is the perfect character to help you out complete this stage. So now she isn't in the best gacha if you do not have her, so if you don't have her, try to scope one out from your friends list to complete the stage. Other good monsters, Kamehameha, who is in the general pool, is a solid character, and I believe she's still in the S rank stage, sorry, A rank level, and she is. Yeah, I mean, weak point killer M, right? Even stronger output than Uriel, so that's invaluable in being able to do damage. Juliet, likewise, weak point killer, and she is able to reveal all weak points. So that is going to be huge to give out a lot of damage. So if you have this trifecta of these SA rank monsters, you should have a pretty good time. Now, I mean, there are some more monsters that are helpful here. Amida is going to be great. Super anti-damage, while Super Mind Sweeper EL will give a lot of bonus damage. Drain also helpful in a stage with no hearts. Recovery Blast is also there to cover the fact that she does not have no wind and will probably be dealing with the infectious poison herself. Just make sure you activate her bump combo and you should be good. Also good is Solomon Dash M. You need to be able to move around the stage and knock out a lot of mob members. So having that available will be very helpful. But this is important. Make sure you do not use her strike shot, because she will be putting up a barrier as part of her strike shot, and you do not want that. Remember, you need the attack buff to be able to do any damage in this game, and you don't want to waste a turn missing out on a buff because, you know, that pesky shield was there in the way. And also Emilia from the I'm actually, was it, which collab was that? Sorry, I'm not gonna even try to guess. But she does have the delay strike shot, which will help in a pinch if necessary. So without further ado, let's turn off the background music, and there we go. Let's start the video. There we go. And I did play this on my alt account on its own. So I played with Kamehameha, Uriel, Emilia, and a friend Uriel as well. Now, basically battle 1, you want to clear out the Puyos as quickly as possible. Remember, they do not have any photon attacks, so you do not have to pick up photons to kill them out. In fact, they're just going to absorb photons unnecessarily, so you want to get them out of the way. Once you do that, then your goal is to pick up the photons and hit the boots. And you know, I'm gonna rewind there because I actually went by a little bit too quickly here. Right, but let's see, maybe we can get a good shot here, right? Because you want to make sure that you are able to hit the boot characters quickly, right? And so you can see this angle I'm taking, right? I want to bounce down, pick up the 2 photons on the left side of the map, right? Which should angle up, hit the boot on the top left, right? And I believe I have that nice W action going. W? Is it W? Okay, I guess it's a awkward V, I guess. Maybe a piranha plant? But, right, you hit the top, you're going to go back down to hit the weak point of the wolf, go back up to the right, and then we're good. And I think we happen to pierce the obstructor at the end. And what's also important here is that the wolves don't revive each other. So you don't have to, some stages you need to kill them at the same time. This stage isn't that punishing. So, you know, just take your time, find a path, clear one. If you get 2, great. This was lucky, and you move on. But okay, right, it didn't actually go the way I described it. Like I missed a little, but you know, that angle was there, so it all worked out in the end. All right, battle 2 here. All right, let's pause again, right, so again, my goal here, clear out the Puyos first and make sure you have an open path to Amaimon there on the top left, right? Remember, Amaimon will be the character that heals you up on the stage, right? Boots hurt, gives you more damage, heal up with the Maimon. If you end up missing him and hit both boots, that's where you can get into a little bit of an accident in trouble here. So just be careful about that. But I do like having this, you get a nice low angle to make sure that you end up hitting a Maimon first, because he is jutting out a little bit. So if you do that properly, you should be able to get the boost, end up hitting Amaimon, which gives that healing blast, right? I'm back up to 100k health, and I am set here. I'm just going to repeat that over and over. Pick up a photon. And I'm a little bit too low, So I'm going at an angle here, and luckily I was able to hit Amaimon properly, tickle his weak point a little bit, give him some damage, and just rinse and repeat. So this isn't too bad once you kind of get that angle, right? Got the Photon, hit the boot, then hit Amaimon to heal up, and we're good. We're already back to max health and moving on to the next battle. Not too punishing here either. Alright, so now let's take a look at Battle 3. Now, Battle 3 is a little bit interesting. This one is a you gotta kill them at the same time kind of stage, right? You see those 3 enemies on the top left, top right, and the bottom center of the stage. You need to kill them in one fell swoop. And this could be a little bit difficult if you're trying to get the Photon, hit the boot, then find a way to get that V positioning so that you can hit all 3 at the same time. That's actually a really tall task. And so my suggestion to you here is look at where your friendly units are and try to plan around it that way, right? If you can power up another character ahead of time, they will keep their buff until their turn ends, which means you do not have to worry about getting a Photon to hit the boot first, right? Then you can just get the Photon to knock out the enemy. If you have a Photon, you're healing yourself, so that's a great bonus. But honestly, all you need to do is make sure you swipe through those weak points with the buff active. And if you can preemptively get that buff, you are making your life so much easier. And let's see, Emilia is the one who's going, and she does not have a buff right now, right? So, right now, look at that. I am pointing towards my player 4 Uri on the top, right? You can see from the PowerPoint here, right? That actually, maybe I didn't even need a screenshot because I'm having the video up. I'm a dummy. But you are going up, right? So that I can hit the top boot, which Uri is in that circle. I guess Uri already has the power up, so maybe it wasn't even necessary, but okay. Well, I got lucky there. I didn't think I got lucky on that last run, but I happened to do the perfect formula of hitting the boot, then getting I don't even have that perfect cut through all of the weak points there. But you can see that Uri was in a perfect position to do the next stage, right? Because now I could just go flat, horizontal, right? You got boots there, so you're going to have enough speed to pick up both weak points on the top and go down and slash all the way to the bottom character, and you should be set, right? So make sure if you are struggling in the stage, do try to wait and think about the stage a little bit and, absorb the situation and see if you can take advantage of that preemptive buff so that you can make your life a little bit easier. All right, let's go on to the boss stage. Now, the boss has pretty simple attacks, right? The Photon is a healing of 70k. You got a shockwave of about 18k damage from the top value. Okay, wait. I'm going too fast here. Come on, Scott. Let's pause the video again. Sorry. All element attack homing on the top left. That's about 24k damage. You want to keep your eye on that, right? That is about, at the same level of, the boot giving you attacks. So if all of that combined in the same turn, you're going to have a lot of trouble surviving. So please be careful about that left number as well. All of that 18k is pretty harsh as well. So, and of course the rightmost number, that 11, which is a little bit blocked right now on the game screen, but it's a random lock ability, just throws random locks. You're probably not going to avoid all of them and you will die. So make sure you kill the boss at that. And of course, these numbers are when the boss is in an unangered state. If you see you hear the steam noise, that's the boss getting angry. When the boss is angry, it will dish out more damage. You'll actually do more damage to it as well. But keep in mind that these values are at a tame, unangry boss. Right. So now we're at Battle 4, and again, your first job is to clear out the Puyos. Make sure they do not steal your Photons and just clear the way for the characters here. Now, I got super lucky once again that I was in a perfect position with Uri. And remember, because I buffed her up on the previous turn, she was already good to go, right? I just had to find that path to go through the boots and voila. I just made my life so much easier on clearing them. Now, a little bit scary there because I ended up hitting the boot on the left as well, but I was able to pick up the photons to heal myself up. Off of Draginyattso, right? And that's what you're going to want to do, right? And so if you can find that path right, like you hit the top boot, I think I hit the bottom, and then I was able to pick up the other 2 photons to heal back up. I think I was going to focus on healing here, right? So it's a nice flatter angle so that I can just make sure I hit Draginyattso to heal myself up rather than the boot. Now again, right, Uri here already has the buff, so I could just go straight and attack. I'm probably thinking, is there a way I can be greedy, get a power up as well? But I think I was just a little bit too late there. I was hoping to hit the top one on the to get the 2 boosts there, but wasn't meant to be there. Battle 5, same idea. You start off with the Puyos, get them out of the way. Do note that there is a super photon in the middle that is worth 4. Right, I'm going for the attack buff to Uri there. Killed 2 out of the 3 Puyos, which was fine. And right, I think this is just making sure I heal up. Yep, and then clear out the last Puyo, and then we are good to start dishing out some damage, right? You know, focus on that Amaimon, clear it out because it'll allow you to get, you know, direct damage to Draginyattso, who's hiding on the bottom right now. But you know, try to play around with your angles, see how much you can take advantage of getting the buff, healing yourself up, and then doing damage, right? And the fact that 4 photon is there just means if you can find a direct line to heal, just do it, right? You have actually plenty of time. That 11 count death kill, it's 11. That's a pretty big number. You do not have to panic too much, right? So, you know, make sure you have an idea who your big batters are, right? Like Kamehameha here does have extra damage that she can dish out, so we want to take advantage of that if possible. Right? Get the boost. Right? I guess that was decent damage. So, right, but I'm still not panicking, right? I have 5 more turns. We're on a good pace, honestly, right? Health looks good, so you know, try to see what I can do to attack. And yeah, I'm going straight into the boot, picking up some health. Right, Uri doing her thing for sure, and that looks great, right? So, you know, like I said, the important thing here is to make sure that you don't accidentally blow yourself up, right? Like, I'm just going flat here to pick up all the photons and just be super safe, right? I'm going flat, I'm hitting Draginyattso first, and I'm guaranteed to dish out enough damage without jeopardizing my health here, right? If you go too much of an angle, you're almost certainly going to pick up a photon and hitting a boot, right? And I'm pretty sure I wanted to hit the top right boot, right? And try and power up my characters, but that was a big fail there. I should... Yeah, right? I'm now going to make sure I power up 2 of my characters for the next turn, right? This is important, right? Even though my health is low, that's fine. I'm clearing the stage. I knew, I was confident that, you know, there was a sliver of HP left, right? I can focus on my next turn, right? And that's going to be huge because I think if I didn't have that, I wouldn't clear battle 6 so easily, right? Because now I do not need to worry about powering myself up on the boots. I can just go for this formation to knock out those 3 characters, which must be killed at the same time, right? And I did that on 1 turn. Doing that in 1 turn I think is huge, right? Thinking ahead, trying to make sure that you get the upper advantage, not having to do so many things at once, right? Having to save getting a photon, hitting a boot, and then getting those 3 at the same turn, it's a lifesaver, right? And now, you know, now you're just doing cleanup, right? find a way to path yourself to clean out the wolves. That'll make sure you don't get hit with the attack down blast. And now just be safe, right? Heal yourself up. And you know what? Uri already has the power up, so I'm going to strike shot 2 photons in line. I only need 1. Heal myself up, and look at that. Super lucky positioning with the weak point. And this is a victory, right? I guess I was just seeing what the strike shot was for kicks here. Aloha! And easy. So, obviously, having a Uri here made things a lot easier, straightforward to play around. But, you know, I think if, you know, take the advice that I gave, you know, make sure you're efficient in cleaning up the Puyos as fast as possible. Make sure you try to take advantage of preemptively buffing your characters. That will save you two big steps on this stage and make things not so overwhelming, right? You clear the stage, you get a max luck Draginyattso off the bat, and you don't have to worry about this quest for a full 2 months, right? It was until November. It's just gonna be there. Don't even have to bother. So yeah, I mean, I think it was a fun stage, and kind of like really, I think this is a good way to enforce the whole photon gimmick, right? You want to get used to it. They want people. It is a pretty difficult concept to grasp a little bit, right? Because you know, just a bunch of numbers again. What are these floating things? I would hope people could, you know, contextually understand how that works, but that's not how real life works. So having this available and, you know, to be able to play around with it with not very punishing situation is not too bad. Now obviously you can be like, Scott, you're using a collab character, you're using a limited monster. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to punish myself too much, but you know, I think what's important here is the technique, right? Hopefully this has been helpful to, you know, if you have been stuck, you know, the advice I've given about, you know, trying to be cognizant of when you can preemptively buff your characters is a huge boon to try and clear this stage. So if you have any questions on the stage, please feel free to ask in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to answer that for you. And again, if you like these, you know, gameplay videos of in-game with analysis, I know, sorry, it was a little bit of a mess. I probably should have kept the video on my phone and then I could seek a little bit easier. I had it already transferred to my laptop, but I'll think about that on how to make that better. If you have any advice, let me know it as well. But you know, positive or negative. If you liked it, please leave a comment. And if you are really passionate about seeing more of these, do let me know. I always kind of shy away from these because the videos are so long. It takes extra effort to make these slides. Are these slides even, do you need them? Was it helpful? Just, you know, give me some feedback on that and I'll be more than appreciative of that. So if you're still around, then thank you so much for sticking around. Hopefully it was helpful. And like and subscribe if you're not done so already. ENGMouse on Twitter/X to get the latest news from me. If you are watching this live, do please, you know, I'm sorry to be a broken record, but do understand that I am on vacation at the moment, so I will be a little bit sporadic in terms of content uh, after the stock runs out. So please understand. And of course, the Discord channel link to the server in the description below. That's it for me today. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye bye.